What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out Executive Assault 2, which recently came out in 1.0. This game is done, and the best way that I can ID it is that it's kind of like a jankier independent version of Sins of a Solar Empire, where it's trying to take a classic StarCraft-style RTS, split it into ground and space combat with kind of system capture and things of that nature, but also there's a little bit of like a 4X element to it as well, where as a CEO of a company, this game is about corporate warfare. The galaxy is owned by corporations. And so your goal is to be the most successful CEO possible by wiping out all the other CEOs and their companies. But it's also got kind of like a trade layer to it. Like one of the big orders in the game is just trying to get your goods flowing so that you can make lots of money and get things moving. The game has kind of a slow open, so this is going to be a pretty heavily edited video. But if after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, you absolutely can. I'll have a link for you down below in the description. This game is done. It includes 3 playable factions that you can play as from day one. It also has a multiplayer mode or a single player mode where you personally can play as an Executron instead, which is the personal robot assassin of a CEO, because this game incorporates all kinds of first-person shooter. Well, not all kinds. It has a bare-bones, asset-y first-person shooter mode to the game where you can take control of any unit, you can take control of any vehicle or any fighting unit, and you can play it kind of like a first-person shooter or like a third-person space game if you want to. At the beginning of the game, you're going to be able to pick from 3 factions: Science, Industrial, and Spy. Most of my time has been spent on Industrial. I've played 1 game as Science. It didn't go super well. Science is super annoying to play against. I mean, the AI in general in this game is pretty aggressive and pretty nasty. We'll play as Industrial since that's what I know the most about, and my 6 or 7 hours that I've played the game have mostly been on Industrial. I'll be the blue guys, I guess, and honestly, I always make this mistake. We need to be distinct. All right, so we'll make these guys yellow right here. Industrial in this game are kind of like the Terrans. They're sort of like all-arounders. They got a little bit of everything, and they use a lot of big, clunky, huge, kind of square-shaped ships. That's why I like them. Science, they're kind of like the Protoss. They're really, really expensive, and their operating costs are huge, but they don't have to deal with any of the energy issues that Industrial does, and they've got like some really sneaky, annoying units for getting things done and sneaking past blockades and stuff like that. Spy, I haven't played yet, so I can't talk about Spy. While we're on the subject, that looks like AI art to me. You should take all the AI art out of your game. You are at risk of having your game removed from the storefront. Steam has said that if you can't prove that you owned the training model for any AI art used inside your title, the second that a copyright DMCA is given out to Steam, they are going to instantly purge every single game on the platform that has AI and leave the consumer holding the bag. So you should have a real artist make all that stuff and replace it, if indeed it is AI art. It looks like AI art to me. I might be wrong. So anyways, this is the beginning of the game. I'm a CEO. I'm in my office. I have a gun. There's first-person shooter mechanics to this game. They largely suck, so I don't use them. They're not out of date. They're just asset-y and bad. That's like all there is to it. The first-person shooting is awful. So anyways, I don't play it. You can if you want, but if you interact with your chair over here, voila! You are now playing in RTS mode. And at the beginning of the game, we're going to need a whole bunch of stuff. So let's start off with that stuff. I like to build myself, so we're going to need a nuclear waste facility. Let's go ahead and get that chugging along. I'll go ahead and put that like that right there. Once the nuclear waste facility is down, when you're playing as the Industrials, unfortunately, every single bit of electricity you produce produces nuclear waste. You're going to have to figure out a way to dispose of that nuclear waste. Later on in the game, you can use it as a weapon, and you can fire it at your enemies, but in the early game, you basically have to hire merchants to haul it off, or you can build a hauler, which will dump it out in the middle of nowhere, and just pretend like it never happened. The next thing we're going to need is a nuclear power plant, because power is going to be in short supply. So there we go. We're also going to want to have a mining and freight terminal. This is going to be the first place that we start gathering our resources from. So there's that right there. That's going to come with 1 mining unit, because if you take a look at the greater expanse of our territory, there's an energon asteroid, there's a metal asteroid, there's a uranium asteroid. We kind of want to get it all. It's just going to make our life easier if we go grab it all. This is going to come with 1 miner. We'll probably put him on Energon since we've got like 10 minutes of fuel left before the power grid starts to drain. On top of that, we'll probably want to pick up a trading port. That feels like a really good idea to me. So there's our trading port. That's going to invite random merchants to come by and land, and we can sell them the things that we are producing. Right now, we are playing as Sideboob Incorporated, and we produce the galaxy's finest gigaporn. All of our enemies, they decided to do things sensible, like transistors, microchips, electronic consumer goods. But I know which way the wind blows. I know what people like. I know where the demand is at. I know what drives innovation. And so I decided to swoop that niche before they could take it from me. The other thing we're going to need is we want to have like a spaceport somewhere. So I'll try to drop that in somewhere. I don't know exactly where it's going to fit. I guess I'll put one right there. You can't mirror your buildings in this game, which is kind of a bummer. I wish that you could, but you can't. So don't try. All right? We can also put another one down here, but we're going to want to wait until we're making a little bit better of money before we get a second spaceport. I think the final things that we want to drop are going to be tech facilities. These are going to be the places that do all of our research. And we're going to want to have like 2 of these. These are fairly important, but we don't have the power to do it if you look at our power overhead. So what we want to do is we want to go to the nuclear power plant here. You're going to click on that power button, and you can actually dial up the amount of power you're producing. I see a lot of new players with this game being confused and being like, why can't I get more power? My power plants are so expensive, but I need more power to build the thing. The reason why is because one power plant should be enough for the time being. By the time you need a second power plant, you should be much, much further on into a run. And so as you can see, they are now manufacturing another miner for us. And so we will probably assign that to be a second miner to go out and get energon crystals. And then once they're getting those, we'll send somebody out. Let's make 3. I think with 4, we should be good. Oh, there he goes right there. Nice, dude. Get on that Energon asteroid over there. That's my man. Over on this side, do we not have the resources to produce right there? We do not have the resources. These guys are pretty pricey. So we're going to have to wait this out. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of editing in this game because the opening parts of the game are very slow. We have been accumulating some research points from our tech over here. This game does have tech trees. Different factions have different tech trees and different specialties that they work on. You may notice that it says requires promotion here. That's exactly why we need to produce goods. So that kind of ties back into the corporate gameplay, is like the more of the enemy's vehicles you destroy and the more things you produce and sell to traders, you can actually watch this meter go up, and then it unlocks the next tier. Now, the AI in this game does blatantly cheat. They don't have to play the economic game, and they are fairly aggressive. So this is going to be one of those games where you really need to pick up the pace and figure out how you want to attack them if you want to get things done. But for right now, all 4 of our producers are done. I don't want to have too many of these transpo ships. The reason being is we only have 2 landing pads right now at our mining central location. So having more than 4 or 5, I find you end up with lines at the gas station where they all can't land. And then you got to build a second one of these. And man, these things are pricey. They cost a lot of electricity, so I don't want to build another one. While we're here, it may not be a terrible idea to get ourselves going with some marauders. So I'll probably queue up probably about 20 of these little bad boys right here. And we're just going to take them out to go scout. They build pretty quickly. They're basically the infantry of the sky. It's just a very light frigate. That's about it. It's a light frigate that's got a little bit of oomph to it that can fight with ground units and bombard and do stuff like that. We've got more money coming in right there. This guy is offloading both the uranium that he's been harvesting, which should give our power grid a nice little, like a little kiss to save it from dying out on us. I think with 2600 we should be good for about 10 minutes, so it'll be okay. In the beginning of the game, there's always a little bit of economic growing pains, I guess. We also got very lucky with this particular area that we live inside of, because we're in a corner. In Sins of a Solar Empire, this was like the start that you wanted. You wanted to be in a corner versus the guy that ends up like here and has multiple access points into his base so that people can go around his defenses. He's got to spend time and money building defenses around all the thoroughfares. We just have one to defend. So if we can get through this gate right here, we can basically build a fat blockade around it so that people got it, and then we can build another fat blockade right here so that we have a blockade coming in and a blockade on landing, so that things get ugly real quick. I was right. We've got 10 minutes of fuel. We're also unloading a little bit of cash right now. We've got people waiting to land, so yeah, 4 seems to be the sweet spot for us as of right now. Each of your ships are customizable. All of your platforms are customizable, in case you were wondering. So you can change around their reactors, their turrets, their armor. There's not an enormous amount of options, but there are enough to kind of like customize a little bit and like specialize your ships to do what you need them to do based on the factions that you're fighting. And you can do that for all of your ground troops. You can do that for your fighters. You can do that for just about anything, in all honesty. It's up to you. I should probably build a bunch of these fighters, too, just to chase down transpos and stuff if they make it through the blockade. I guarantee you the enemy's going to start scouting us pretty soon. Now that I've developed out the base a little bit, this is going to be the point at which we start to want to get things going. I've got myself a second shipyard over here, and I've got myself a cloning facility. So we need to get the cloning facility going. We're also going to want to get some defenses and things around the base, because depending on who we're up against, they're going to have different strategies. So, like, science is going to try to infiltrate with these fast little landers nonstop. So they're going to have these little landing craft that they're going to be trying to sneak past our blockade over here at the entrance all the time, like nonstop. And they're just going to land like 4 infantry over here, 2 infantry over here, 1 tank over here, 1 infantry over here, just to mess with you all the time so that you can't focus on anything other than just defending your base. And so having automated defenses around the base is going to help out with this quite a lot. We do have a trader in our landing port right now, which is really good for us. We're going to want to make use... Did he just leave already? Or has he not landed yet? Oh, okay, he's good to go now. We're going to sell him all of this metal ore, because metal is worth a whole bunch. I also need to pay him to haul off my radioactive waste, otherwise my reactor will blow up if it fills up too much. But we're basically going to act as a mining colony and just feed him as much cash as he'll take. There we go. And so that got us up to 15,000 energon right there. And here I was a little tiny bit worried. Just a little bit worried about our throughput for our economy. You have a large object come out of nowhere and vanish. Sensors are detecting that it may vanish soon. There's randomized events. You also don't know, just like Sins of a Solar Empire, you don't know what's going to be in each of these areas when you get there. So keep your head down. Sometimes it's like zombies, spacefaring zombies. Sometimes like these weird little worm guys that can like spawn inside your base after they like spread like a disease all over the galaxy. There's little events. There's derelict spaceships that you can get science out of. There's all kinds of random things that you can board or find out there in space. For now, we're going to want to have a bigger ship before too long. So let's go ahead and we'll research the obsidian. And we'll get some obsidians cooking. I don't know what our production queue is looking like, but getting like 10 of these guys going to kind of like punch harder, because these right here are actually like Corvettes. That'll be a little bit more helpful. We can't really upgrade them that much right now. I can get like heavy cannons and stuff if we could get some more technology brewing. So maybe I'll pick up another tech facility over here maybe. I feel fine about it. I don't think it's a terrible thing to invest in just to get your research going. Get us to tier 2 as fast as possible. I'm going to have to send some people through the gate though next. That's going to be our next order of business. We have a ping. Someone just tried to jump into our system. They're going to have a really bad day. They're going to wish they hadn't. And we're playing against science. Yeah, that's a science probe right there. So science, that means we need to reinforce the hell out of this gate, because they're going to be trying to infiltrate us like crazy. Okay, so in reinforcing the hell out of the gate, how do we do that? Well, we've got battle platforms that we can deploy. I think putting 2 heavies, or 2 mediums, like 3 lights on this side, 2 mediums, 3 lights on the other side will probably do it. Unfortunately, we're not done with our Corvette production just yet. So if we want that to get finished off, oh yeah, I built a deep mining facility. It randomly produces resources, which is pretty cool. On top of that, we should probably get going with selling some of our gigaporn. I forgot about that. All right. Erect the gigaporn forge. Tell the Archmagos of Mars that now is the time. Praise the Omnisire. The bits and bytes flow into Booby. Oh my, they're here. They've arrived. They're actually flat out attacking us right now. Okay. I see how it is. Prepare to die. Over here, if you wanted to watch the battle from inside like a cockpit or something, you can do that, by the way. You can also be a part of the battle if you really want to. So there you go. You can fly around and shoot people and stuff too. There's no 6 degrees of freedom, so you can't like fly around up and down or anything, which I think limits the spectacle a little bit. I think they probably could have given you like, let's call it just hypothetically, I don't know how tall these ships are, but these ships, if they're, let's say 200 meters tall, maybe, you know, give you 6 or 7 ship widths above and below that you could fly to maybe. But either way, we need some commands to come in here. Unload on them, boys. Sometimes selectivity in this game is really, really weird. It can be kind of difficult to click on units from time to time, and I haven't really been able to get to the bottom of why that is. It looks like science is not that far down their tech tree yet, because pretty early on, science unlocks the ability to get a big fat shield on all of their units, and they don't have that yet, so that's a good thing. But yeah, we're going to want to start looking to the collective passive defense as well. We haven't had any traders land anytime soon, but we have produced 9 units of weight, of volume? I don't know. 9 some kind of measurement units, 10 now, of gigaporn. And honestly, I think the adventure's going great. As soon as these corvettes are done getting cooked, and I think they are done, we should be able to jump through the gate and take the fight to the enemy and start setting up a foothold over there, because we can make space bases and also space manufactories. How long do we have before our next trader? 1 minute? Fantastic. Looking forward to making just so much money. It's going to be the best. Let's go back to our manufactory. We're going to want to get, like, let's call it 3 medium platforms right there. Actually, before I do that, let's do our research. Let's get thick armor. Let's get polarized graphene rounds and heavy cannons. There we go. Perfect. Before I start stamping these things out without their upgrades, we should be able to put heavy cannons and graphene rounds on these. Yeah, that'll be nice. There we go. So fabricate. We've already got a couple of those coming out. Cancel all 3 of those. Fabricate the upgraded ones. And then on the other side with the light platforms from Shipyard 2, or Shipyard 1, we'll say 5 of them. Sounds good. And then we'll kind of deploy those around the gate over here for when the enemy starts coming at us. Because once they start to spin up, they're not going to let up. We're going to be fighting them probably every few minutes for the rest of the game. Once you get past the initial 30 minutes with this game of just kind of like taking its time, that's when the game starts to pick up speed. So hang in there. And as you can see, there's our first little beautiful platform right there, heading on out for deployment. We are under attack again, though, and I always feel the need to micro when I play this game. There we go. Sink them. Let them have it. They are going to pick up momentum if these attacks don't seem that bad. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's coming. Hey, he came in specifically. He was like, I've been looking forward to buying this gigaporn from you. Oh, it carries so much value. He bought so much. Good for you, man. Oh, we can get fusion reactors? We should probably do that. He's got, better speed, too. Okay. So we're going to sell as much metal ore as we possibly can. And then from there, we're going to take that money that we just got, and we're going to get fusion reactors.
Research completed.
That's a good idea. All right, so what's going on here? We're under attack again? Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, you deploy, and you deploy. Your units in this game, they don't really attack the enemy. Like, they don't take a lot of initiative, all right? Like in most games, things will just attack automatically, like while they're in position. They'll just kind of like attack move on their own. In this game, you gotta kind of like babysit your units because they don't really do that. They will sit there and just get shot, and only like 1 or 2 of them will return fire. Oh yeah, baby, them heavy cannons are hurting. You can see them flying through the air from the defense platforms. Hell yeah. Okay, so now you guys are going to the other side of the gate. Let's take the fight to these nerds. So I want to get more defensive platforms. I want this entire area to be like a death run, basically. I want them to look at that spot and feel horror, having to know they've got to fly through it. We need probably like 5 more medium defense platforms. Sounds good. The soundtrack in this game is utterly incredible, by the way. It's very, very John Williams inspired. It sounds great. I think it's good. Is that another medium defense platform? All right, let's just keep making like a little blockade over here that they have to go through in order to get to us. That's the Sykes system. Okay. We'll have to chart which direction they're coming from, but we can work with this. This is not bad. We do have a lot of research to spend right here, so I figure we'll pick up the Striker real fast, which is a transport landing craft for invading other people's territories. We will pick up an anti-tank turret, I think. That sounds good. We'll get the heavy space defense turret. We'll get an anti-starship cannon. There we go. So now we've got defenses to play around with. We're going to have to decide where we want to put them, but I'm going to keep developing the blockade over here. So we've got a light defense platform right there. You pull on over to this side. I'm not trying to babysit them super hard, but the AI is reasonably smart in this game. They will try to fly around. I watched them do it on my last game. That's how they beat me, is that I made a blockade just like this one. And I only followed direct pathing, so from the gate to my base, figuring they would fly in a straight line. They do not. They will zone in, they will look at your defensive grid, and they'll go and they'll go around. I don't know if I've ever seen AI do that in an RTS before. I don't know if it was intended, but they did it to my last base, and that's how I lost the game, all right? And looky there, we've got our secondaries too, dude. We just got a promotion. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Time for us to get some big guns out here. The Vengeance. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get some of this research put together. Superheated graphene rounds. That sounds dope. I kind of want that. Is that it? They're just firing like one probe at me. This is what science does right here. They bring one little probe, and this probe, what they don't tell you is their probes are landing crafts. The science faction anyways. So this little probe right here probably has like 5 soldiers on board, and they'll land it in like the corner of your base, and they'll get you with just those little scummy Zerg strategies, dude. Like, you know how the Zerg used to, smaller type of Zerg. You know how the Zerg would use Nidus canals and things to be like super annoying about that stuff? Exact same thing here. They do the exact same thing. And so science, I was hoping we wouldn't get science. I probably should have just said it, but it doesn't matter. Protester ships are attaching. Oh, that's not good. Apparently they came in from somewhere else. All right, everybody come through the gate one more time. Get out of here. Everybody warp jump. We got to come back and we got to stop whatever's happening over here. It concerns me. What is that? It just looks like a little fighter. Are there a lot of them? There's like 3. It's not that bad. We'll probably want to get like some anti-aircraft turrets or something going. There's no push pause in this game, so when bad things happen, you kind of just got to panic and get it done. Heavy space defense turret. Does that fly? Anything in the sky or in space? Good. Put it right there. Put it right there. Well, we killed one. Those ones, they don't seem like they're going to do, I mean, who knows? It doesn't seem like they're going to do that much damage, but these little events are what keep the game sort of fresh, I guess, if you've never played it before. Yeah, you guys, oh, look at that. They invented shields. Look at you little smarty boys over here. Look at you space eggheads. Oh, are you guys not deployed? You should definitely be deployed. You should work on that. Yeah, you guys go over there. Or at least one of you go over there. And then I'll probably cobble together just a fighter or two, probably. It's from the small shipyard. Should be able to just put together some fighters. Just a fast, rapid response to these situations. Yeah, let's put them together. We'll get like 10 of these guys ready to rock. I probably should use superheated graphene rounds, but we'll give them the polarized ones. Cancel those. And then do it again with the polarized rounds. We'll just get like a little fighter wing, basically, to handle that. They are firing on my mining ship. and I hate it. Did you guys deploy? You guys should definitely deploy. Oh, they're inside the ring. Okay, you guys go over there. You go over there. You deploy. They can't deploy in the red spot, all right? They're not allowed to deploy in the red spot. Looks like we're chewing them up pretty good, though, so we should be okay. It sucks that you can't, like, gate camp the map. Like, I don't know why you're not allowed to. That's, like, literally what every space government would do, is they would set up a ridiculous flotilla all around the access point to their space. And we ever get those fighters ready to go? Off, and away we go. We dogfighting. Our fighter looks bigger and scarier than their fighter. At the bare minimum, it's getting these guys up and out of our butt, and it's dealing with a small problem that needs to be dealt with right now. And we have more craft coming in. Large gateway probe. Where's that at? Oh, there he is right there. Get his ass. Get him. Yeah, don't let that through. We're going to have, like, they're starting, like, the main invasion right now is what you're going to start to see. So chances are when they get into our system, what they're going to attempt to do, looks like they're running the blockade, actually. Last time they dodged it. I think the blockade should get them. I think. I don't know. Sometimes science vessels have a stiffer chin on them than you expect. Go ahead, I guess, and you guys all kind of deploy just in the area. Doesn't really matter. It's kind of like in the vicinity and then deploy. We'll keep the blockade right there. I need to get some more vehicles going. We don't really have a choice in that regard. So let's maybe think about... I'm running low on power. How are we on research right now? We're getting into the... Let's get the Vengeance. No, we need the Tritanium. We need the Tritanium refinery. That's what we need, because it'll make Tritanium so that we can get upgraded vehicles. All right, so there's our anti-aircraft guns. Is there a research to get more power, too? I need more power. Reduced nuclear waste is probably good. Perfect welds is good, though. That's what I think I'm looking for. They're jumping in again, so I just got to focus on this for a second, then we'll get there. We do have tanks. We do have things that we can produce here, which are kind of badass. Let's go... Let's get the Vengeance up and going, I guess, soon. How's this engagement looking for us? Is it looking okay? We're kind of getting dumpstered on a little bit. Our fleet's not looking great, so we're going to need to resupply. Let's go ahead and we'll get this guy over here running on some Marauders. And then we'll get this guy going on some more Obsidians. Oh, he needs a Tritanium? Damn. Well, I'll have a Tritanium in a minute. I just don't have it right now. Man, they're really just kind of bashing their way through, aren't they? Just nonstop attrition. What is that big son of a bitch? A longbow? Good lord. Oh, my God. Okay, yeah, it had the big scary space laser. He just took all of our gigaporn, which is great, which means we just made a bunch of money. Does he have... We can get thick armor. Probably buy that. Command core we don't need just yet. But I do need him to take some of the radioactive waste off our hands. Thank you, sir. That's all I need from you. Hopefully our fleet can recover here. Is everything deployed? You're not deployed. Deploy. You're also not deployed. Get over here and then deploy. I should probably pull these guys back a little bit further, too, and force them to go through into, like, the guns in order to fight us all, to give our fleet a little bit of an advantage. All right, you deploy there. I got to change the spawn spots. So you rally over there. You rally over there. Man, we can't even get out of our own system right now. It's okay. We're going to get there. We just got to stick with it. They're going to try to do landing over on this side with the perfect welds. My facility, I think, is over here. Oh, thank you. I need so much more power so that I can build the defense grid. All right, so we got more power. Now we can build the defense grid. We can get a space defense turret, I think is a really good idea. Like right there. Space defense turret right there. We probably want anti-personnel turrets kind of like there. Every anti-personnel turret should have like a tank turret next to it, I think. And we'll just kind of put one down here for now. I'm not trying to go too wild and crazy with the base defense setup. But, alright, so the defense grid is now up, and we're looking pretty solid right there. I've got my fighters on this side. I'll probably put them on my 2 key so that I can have them rally and respond to threats that come through. They are still actively trying to land probes all over the place. That one's smart enough to go around, so he's trying. But even if they land, we now have kind of like a defensive grid, so I think we might be okay. We've just got to make sure we don't get, like, we can't let any of these land, because some of these will have battle tanks on them. Some of them will have giant mech warrior mechs. Like, the science faction has a lot of really annoying, expensive units. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but the science faction, man, they just have these units that are so expensive, but they bat so far out of their league. So, like, for a player, they're, like, balanced, but for the AI, which does not have to play the economic game that I have to play, they basically just get better units than I do, just hands down, and they print them out like candy. And so we've managed to stop their first major invasion, though, which is kind of what we're looking for. When that pops up right there, it should also have a button that says go to, by the way. You should be able to go to, and it'll just go over to the gate at Sykes over here. Yeah, you guys should not be where you are right now. I don't know why you keep going over there, but you should stop doing that. Is the rally point borked or something?
Rally point set.
Maybe I'll put it further back. I don't know. Just let them come into the blockade. Like, make them fly into all this. Yeah, make them deal with all the defensive guns and all the platforms and everything. Perfect. You love to see it. Okay, so we're going to want the fleet to be a little bit further forward so that we can engage. I think the longbow is just going to hang in the back and snipe, though. We may actually have to go get him. Tritanium factory should be down and producing tritanium now, which means that we can upgrade some of our design schema. It also means that we can go on in here and we can get the Vengeance as well, which I've been very excited about. We can get steelite armor, too, which increases the production cost of our stuff, but is quite powerful. It definitely looks like they are 100% building up their fleets. We're doing okay, but we're definitely going to want some upgraded ships pretty soon to counter those longbows so that we can kind of like chunk our way out of this territory. I think it's definitely time for a third manufactory. Third manufactory will be only responsible for producing very, very large ships. I'll think about where I want to put things on the grid from just a moment, but it's a very dynamic game. Like, it's fun. Like, you feel like you're under siege very, very quickly in this title. I think my main complaints about it are small units are incredibly difficult to select in this game. So things like probes and stuff like that tend to run your blockades very easily because they're just hard to get a grasp on. That's about it. Takes us 4 tritanium for each of these. All right, give me 3 of them. These guys should be pretty tough, though. They've got some really nice upgrades. I love that ship hull design right there, too. It's got like a... It's got a very, very good-looking design to it. I don't know. It's a good-looking ship. I like it. But yeah, my main complaint is that selection boxes on smaller units are very difficult to get after. There's a lot of quality of life missing here. Like, when it gives you a notification, there should always be a go-to button that you can click that automatically takes you there. The first-person shooter mechanics are kind of like, meh, who cares? I don't know. It doesn't add anything to the game for me, but maybe it does for other people. But the jankiness of it for me means that I won't use it. However, the RTS mechanics here are enjoyable and fun. If you enjoyed Sins of a Solar Empire and games like that, this will do, in my opinion. Like, this definitely has kind of that feel to it. And so anyways, this is Executive Assault 2, which is now out in 1.0. As far as options go, all of the standard, I think, expected things are here. It does include key bindings, and it does let you change the field of view. for your first-person shooter gameplay. It's got customizable autosaves. That's kind of cool as well. And so the standard things are here. Nothing crazy to write home about. I think I would like another mini-map, too, for, like, in-system, I think. So, like, you've got this system map right here. I'd also like to have another one that's like a circular radar that tells you where all the enemy units are at and, like, where things are happening. If your system has multiple entrances and the AI is probing you when you're fighting multiple AIs that way, which I was doing on easier difficulties, it's nice not to have to, abuse your scroll wheel to figure out where they're coming in from. After the first couple times, you know where they're coming from, but still, I would like to have maybe another optional little in-system radar down here that I can use. But aside from that, it's a fun game, man. There's a lot of replayable hours here, and with the multiplayer, you can also have your friends play as your own personal assassin with, like, an overpowered tank that they drive or, like, an overpowered ship that they fly. Just to assist you in your various landings and things of that nature. Kind of cool stuff to think about. So anyways, check it out. Executive Assault 2. I approve. There's not enough RTSs right now. I've been lamenting the lack of RTSs lately. It seems like next year's going to have a lot. But this year, man, there haven't been a lot of strategy titles. I feel like I've been mostly covering RPGs and roguelikes all year. But I want to do more strategy stuff. It's just kind of a lull for strategy games right now. But not in Executive Assault's world. I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Bye.